Welcome to Lawyers and Libations, episode 11 with Sarah and Rebecca. How are ya?
It's still the summer.
It is, and it is a hot one.
It is hot as shit outside. Apparently, it's going to be breaking temperatures all over the country, especially the West. There's like 90 million people under like a heat warning.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. I think last week, the temperatures were apparently like the highest they've been ever.
I feel like
Probably
that's
other than the dinosaurs.
happening.
Yeah, I agree.
We might just boil to death at some point in time. So I think Death Valley said 130, Las Vegas 117. I know you like a pool party, but I am not going with you for that.
Not when it's that hot.
Not gonna do it.
Hard
It's
pass.
too warm. I went to New Orleans and it was like stepping off an airplane under like a wet electric blanket. It was disgusting.
You know, and I do love New Orleans. The last time I was there, it was the week before Katrina hit.
Oh, no.
I was down there for a legal conference. I was in law school. And I remember, so it was hot. It was the same thing. It was like hundreds plus. And it smelled so gross. It was just like stinky pee everywhere. And I still, to this day, I don't know if you ever think about things that you didn't buy that you wish you had. Like I tried on the cutest dress in this boutique and I was like, I don't know if I have the money for it. I'm just in law school. And I didn't buy it. And a week later, Katrina hit and the freaking store was gone. So I should have definitely bought
now you've never seen it again and you're like, it keeps you awake at night.
It does. It makes me crazy. But
So
stinks.
So they have Southern Trial Lawyers Association down there every year. I think it's in February, late January, early February. Anyway, I went down there and it was pouring rain the entire time. So up until this time, I'd only done Bourbon Street, right? You would fly in, you get in an Uber, you go stay at your hotel, you go to Bourbon Street, you go back to your hotel, and then you fly out. But this time, I actually got to see a lot of the town, which was stunning and beautiful and great restaurants and these houses. Good grief.
Oh, they're gorgeous. Yeah.
They're amazing. But my first interaction with New Orleans, if I can call it that, was on Bourbon Street during STLA, and it was, torrential downpour. So the entire Bourbon Street floods. I was the only one out of our group to watch the Weather Channel before we went. So I brought my little hunter boots that come up to my knee because everybody, it was literally water up to mid, right below your knee. It covered your tibia and fibula and all of that. It was
it's like dead
disgusting.
bodies and pee and poop and all kinds of stuff.
It smelled like urine. We were all soaked. I was there with Mary Margaret. She actually lost her shoe in one of the drainage, the little drainage things. We had to go buy some really bad wedge flip flops that were like rubber. It was disgusting. Anyway, so it can be gross, but it was beautiful when I just went to it. Absolutely. God, those houses. Where do I get one of those houses?
New Orleans, probably.
It's too fucking hot. I'm not doing it. And I can say that coming from Atlanta. It was very, very warm. So heat is breaking all over the summer. And everyone, again, hottest on record ever in the entire world of all time that they've been recording temperatures, which probably doesn't bode so well for our children. I'm slightly worried about it.
No, definitely not. I was trying to explain to the kids why it was important to recycle on our vacation. I was like, we want to have an earth around for your children. And then I thought to myself, does anybody even want to be here?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty gross by then.
Yeah, I'm kind of a pretty firm believer in reincarnation for whatever that's worth. And I'm like, I don't want to come back. This is a solid good, before shit really goes off the rails. I feel like this is a good last trip around, around the sun.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't need to come back anymore when it's
not if it's going to be hotter.
No, I had somebody also. They were telling me stories about India and going there, and I was like, it's the hottest place on the planet. Why would you ever go to India? So I'm not a big fan of heat in general. Summertime is my least favorite season.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. In other news, I know that we've talked about this before on the podcast, but I feel like we should just do a segment called Just Get Fucking Divorced, because people continue to poison their spouses when they're having extramarital affairs.
Ooh, who's the latest?
So this was a dentist in Colorado, and he got some arsenic and cyanide to poison his fucking lovely wife, mother of 6 children, because he was, apparently addicted to porn and had multiple affairs. But the odd thing is that he actually, like that other guy, who was poisoned, who had been poisoned, 2 or 3 times or something. This was very similar. She had been poisoned one time previously by him, or drugged. Sorry, not poisoned, drugged. When he said he drugged her because he was going to kill himself and he didn't want her to wake up and find him and help save him or some shit like that. I have no idea. So so she's feeling unwell, right? Because he's putting arsenic and cyanide in her shakes every morning. And he goes, and she said, I think that I feel drugged. And he said, I know this must be, given our history. Hold on, I wrote it down. Given our history, I know that must be triggering. Just for the record, I didn't drug you. Like, what the fuck?
Red flag, red flag.
If your partner has ever drugged you before for anything or poisoned you, it's probably time to get a divorce.
No, I mean, Ryan and I definitely have a standing rule. I'm like, look, if you fall in love with somebody else, don't kill me. Just tell me. I'll figure it out.
Just fucking get divorced.
Yeah.
It's not that tricky.
Yeah, don't kill me.
I got divorced. It's not an enjoyable thing, but like,
it's better than death.
Don't murder the other parent of your child. That's going to fuck them up for the rest of their lives.
Now, George did ask me yesterday when I picked him up from camp, he goes, Mom, what happens if you get buried alive? What do you do? And I go, well, I mean, I guess
like an avalanche or
no,
what?
just like if you're in your coffin, but you're really still alive and nobody catches it.
Oh, Jesus.
Like it's a deep thought for a 6-year-old. And I go, well, I mean, maybe we should just make sure we all get buried with tools. And then that way, like if you are alive, you can like shimmy your way out.
There was some terrible
It happened recently to some chick.
No way.
Mm-hmm. I'll pull it up next time for the podcast.
Buried alive?
They thought she was dead. It's like the Romeo and Juliet, I guess, whatever. Speaking of drugs, I wonder if she took something to make it appear she was dead.
Nobody has time for that. There was some Kiefer Sutherland movie called Missing or something, I remember, like early 90s maybe, where like his wife or girlfriend got kidnapped at a gas station by the guy.
So good.
Yeah,
yes.
And then she got like buried alive, and so he decided to go through it. Oh, it was fucking terrible. Yeah. But I don't really know what to say about that, but I can give you a therapist recommendation for George if you want. And I feel like that would make me nervous if he's worried about being buried alive.
Yeah, little buddy. No, we've already got a very good child therapist.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm like, I've got one. Trust me, I got one. And then the other thing that we have going on this summer, it seems like everybody's going on strike, right? Mm-hmm. UPS is getting ready to possibly go on strike, which will fuck all of our Amazon Prime stuff from being delivered. That would be terrible.
Oh, yeah, right in time for Prime Day.
Yeah, we've got SAG, all the actors and Screen Actors Guild, they're done.
Yeah.
They said, we're out for now.
I think everybody's tired of getting screwed. They're like, we'll all protest.
Did you say Starbucks?
I heard Starbucks was protesting.
Like,
they're about to go on strike.
What are they mad about?
Probably wages, I'm sure.
Wages,
I mean, if they're charging $12 a latte,
shouldn't they be paid at least?
Paid accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair. Yeah. So it seems like it's probably because it's hot as shit outside, and everybody's just like, "Fuck it, I'm done working. We're striking. Now's as good of a time as ever."
Right.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
I would agree on that. So today, tell us who we're having today.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we have one of my favorite people on the planet, Elizabeth Davis, who is actually my financial planner. She is just a huge champion of women and women in business.
She's lovely.
She's so great.
I really like her.
But I thought it'd be so fun to have her on to talk about kind of her insight in the finance world, things that we should be doing to look out for ourselves long term, both men and women, but particularly women, just making sure that we're making the right moves and doing the right things to set ourselves up for success. So she is going to be on.
Perfect.
A couple fun facts before she gets on, and I'll definitely bust her chops when she is on. But I met her during COVID at her son's birthday party, and our 6-year-olds, are now best of friends, but they're also complete psychopaths. So, like, if they spend the night together, you have to, like, be able to separate them and like keep them from murdering each other.
Yes.
But when George stays at her house, he likes to sleep in her bed.
Oh, of course he does.
Loves Elizabeth.
Yes.
But so in addition to being my financial planner and one of my favorite people, she also has gotten me all into this intermittent fasting, which I blame her for sending me this podcast right before I went on vacation. The title of it was Why You Can't Lose Weight.
Oh.
So, yeah. So definitely the reason I know that we're really good friends is you don't send that type of podcast to like a soft friend. That's like a real friend.
No, that's like a true, that's like a sister level friend. Yeah. And that's fair. I will say, though, on the other hand, again, seeing you naked multiple times, you don't need to lose any weight.
Well,
you look
you.
phenomenal.
Thank you. It's just the mid-40s drama of it all. But anyway, so it made me laugh. But so now I'm super obsessed with this lady that wrote the podcast. And I read the book on vacation instead of Outlander.
Whoa, no.
I know.
So have you read it yet?
I'm a quarter of the way through.
Okay.
I was definitely, based on watching the show, expecting more like 50 Shades of Grey level of like sex in the book. And it's definitely not so far.
Well, they don't use like bondage and stuff, but you're only in the quarter of the first book. There's like
she's not banging Jamie
There's
yet.
10 books, and she bangs the shit out of Jamie.
Okay.
Repeatedly.
Well, I'm patiently waiting. So I'm a quarter of the nothing dirty outside of like some like smooching with her husband has happened yet. So.
Oh, no. Gear up, girl.
Hallelujah.
It's amazing. You might need some alone time with that book. But so Elizabeth, yes. Well, she can help our listeners prepare financially. So instead of murdering their fucking spouse, they can just get a divorce and be totally fine on their own.
Just know where all the money is.
Look at that. Mm-hmm. You too can succeed without ending up in an orange
jumpsuit. Have to kill
jumpsuit.
people. Absolutely.
Very proud.
Well, perfect. So we'll be back in a few minutes with Elizabeth.
Can't wait. Welcome back to Lawyers and Libations with Sarah and Rebecca. We have
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. So as promised, we brought on Elizabeth, who is Rebecca's financial advisor. She's amazing and lovely and brilliant, and she has brought us a lovely drink today.
She has. What did you bring us?
I brought a transfusion.
Transfusion.
Really in honor of Rebecca. Ryan, her husband, gave me my first transfusion only a year or two ago.
What?
Blood transfusion or vodka transfusion?
I'm like, do you golf?
I don't know when and where we had this for the first time.
We were at your father-in-law's lake house.
That's
and
right.
I think he brought a goodie bag.
And he brought, Ryan's like
Good
that.
work,
He brings
Ryan.
goodie bags.
He is, yeah.
When we
He's
moved
good
into
for
our
that
new
stuff.
house, the only person that showed up with a housewarming gift was Ryan Hallberg. Like
He's
out of
on
his way, drove over.
He's
But you know what he brought?
proper.
A bag of all this stuff to make transfusions.
Yes.
And did he get you all the cute cups too that
He
had
did.
the marker, like the cups? God, I can't remember where we got them, but they were marked on them like vodka this high, transfusion mix this high.
Mine, I think, was a little higher than both of yours today. Anyway, so it's delicious. But I will say the mix that we used is Owens. And a friend, so my sister-in-law's best guy friend, Dave Seiler.
Okay, I'm following.
He works for Owens, which has mixers for all kinds of amazing stuff. So they've got like cucumber mint. They've got a really good espresso martini. So this is their transfusion, and it's all like non-alcoholic. And you get the mixers, and then you just pour in your own booze.
Perfect.
It's so good. And I think I've had a couple of different transfusion mixes. The Owens ones are the most like
Similar to the golf course.
yes, and they don't like some of them do taste kind of like syrupy and gross, and Owens
Too much
is
sugar,
like
yeah.
Owens tastes like what I drink on the golf course.
Yeah, grape juice and ginger ale.
Well, you need to
Oh,
have
that sounds
Rebecca
delicious.
try the espresso martini option
do love
since that's
espresso martini.
her signature.
I mean, it's really good. I drank it the other day out of the refrigerator without any vodka in it because I just needed a quick pick-me-up.
oh, yeah.
They do that.
It was good.
I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's delicious, I bet.
It is. So let's try this. Is it good?
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Cheers.
Speaking of golf, before we get to you, I wanted to mention something that I heard on the Smartless podcast, which was like Jason Bateman.
Love those guys.
Oh my God, it's
Smart
like
List?
Smartless, Less.
Oh,
First of all,
Smart
it's
List.
hysterical. But so they had super, like, I don't normally think younger guys are hot, but they had Tom Holland on, who I just adore.
Okay.
And
He's pretty hot. Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Don't
He
tell Tom
played
Holland.
Spider-Man. He's
Okay.
dating Zendaya.
Got it.
Isn't he on Don't Worry, Darling? Is that him?
No, that's Harry Styles.
Oh, shit.
Similar look. Kind of like,
Okay.
because I also typically don't think skinny guys are hot, but like, he's cute. He's super cute.
Yeah.
But so he was here was in Atlanta filming a movie. I can't remember when, but he ran into Jason Bateman playing golf at Bobby Jones. So
Which we need to go to Bobby Jones immediately.
if celebrities are playing golf at Bobby Jones,
Yeah.
why aren't we playing more golf at Bobby Jones? It's $25.
It's 9
Right in the middle of the
holes.
city. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun.
No,
I've
I'm
never played Bobby Jones. We
Well,
should go.
It's lovely. Yes, just
I
9
should- I
holes.
feel
It's just
like
hot as shit right now. We
The
gotta
likelihood
wait.
of running into another celebrity is going to be low, though. I feel like
I
that
don't
might have
know.
been a fluke.
If we go, I propose that we go every week, and eventually we're going to run into a
Between
celebrity.
podcast recording and golfing, there's
And
really not much
kids and everything
time for
else.
anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
I mean, fine, or at least like twice a month. That could increase our chances of running into Jason or Tom.
I think so.
There you go.
And also, if we become good friends with like the pro, then maybe they give us a heads up and say, hey, wink, wink, Jason Bateman's going
We'll
to be
take the
here.
pro all the transfusions he could want.
Yep.
Yeah, that might not help us swing.
Get in with him good, and then he'll let us know.
Yeah.
You know?
So anyway,
I'm
sorry
in
for
that.
the little diverging
No,
thing, but I was
love
like,
a
we should
diversion.
do that. That was some very good Atlanta information, I thought.
Fall,
Fall.
because right now it's hot as shit.
Very true.
I know.
So,
So I'm not good in heat.
so excited that Elizabeth is with us. And
happy
so
to
what I
be here.
forgot to mention before you came on, I kind of gave a little overview. But Elizabeth is the co-owner of a financial planning team. She has just been, I love my original financial planner who I still work with a little bit, but I met Elizabeth and then slowly have like,
We haven't even made her fire this
No.
other woman
Nope.
yet, who
'cause
hopefully
I'm very
doesn't
loyal. I don't like,
listen to the podcast.
I don't think she does. I think we're good. And I still have her on some stuff. but,
Yes.
like,
We don't want
Elizabeth and her team have done a great job. I'm not necessarily the crazy financial person in my family. It's Ryan, who, while a lovely gift giver, is very worried about money and the future
Very
and what
anal.
are we doing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
likes to save.
Oh my God, it's a
does.
lot. It's exhausting.
A skill I don't have, despite
Yeah.
being a financial advisor.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Get
about
in the
that.
line,
It's
girl.
very hard. But anyway, so we're so glad that you're here. One of my favorite things about you is I feel like you're always connecting people, particularly women. So I feel like within a week of knowing you, you were like, who do you need to know to get business from? I'm like, okay. And so like, I told you some people. And like, you've always come through on that. And I try to do the same for you.
You
and
do.
You know, I just,
I feel like
Big
we have a
fan.
whole branch of our business now that is this person knew this person who this knew that who knew Rebecca.
Yes.
Who, you know,
it happens. So
it happens.
It
Yeah.
is all
You're a big
about
connector also.
relationships.
It really is.
business,
It really
for
is.
Sure.
And I don't know why I've just kind of always been wired like that. You know, the thrill of if you set someone up on a date and then they like each other.
They get
You're like,
married. I've done that.
I'm a life changer.
Jen's husband and they got married because I introduced them.
good. Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
But I just love when you connect people and then they like each other and they become friends or they do business together or there's another way it helps people. And then, of course, not so altruistically, it always comes back around.
It does.
Over
Absolutely.
the years, you know.
Well, and I think that part of the biggest thing that is so attractive about you, besides the fact that you're just a beautiful woman, obviously,
Thank you.
but is that you are a female financial planner. Tell us
Yes.
what it's like being in the financial planning game as a woman versus
That is
a man.
such an
'cause-
interesting question. And I've thought about it differently over the years, you know, as you continue to have different experiences. And when I first started in the industry, people were like, oh, you're going to do so much business with women. And I was almost a little put off. Like, yeah, I mean, I can do business with women, but I'll do business with men also. Like, what's really the difference?
Right. Are you saying it's because I don't have a penis that I will not be good
like,
at doing this?
I think I can handle some men
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But they were right in that women just support each other differently. They connect each other differently, and they relate to one another a lot faster. So we have a lot of male clients, of course, and my partner is a male, and we're working with single people and families and businesses, and but who I get referred to the most often is women. And you will find, like, in a one-on-one conversation in an hour, you will learn about the insecurities in their marriage and their family history and all the things that they probably wouldn't have come to the table and shared with
a man,
a random man right out of the gate.
Yeah.
There are also things, of course, that are more difficult about it. People think you don't know as much, or that
No, we don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
Big
it's
female lawyers.
numbers are hard.
I know. It's
you know,
so hard
so,
going into court.
I think we're initially more trustworthy. Like they say, I think nurses and teachers are the most trustworthy occupations in the country. And then when they dig deeper into the data, it's really, 95% of nurses are women. It's a helping profession, and then same with teachers. So there's something nurturing and caregiving stereotypically about women. So I think people trust me faster and trust my recommendations faster if we can get over the hump of,
Of you
The
being a
fact
girl.
that
women know some things.
The fact that you don't have a penis.
So it's
I know that's
I think
real
it's like
tricky
that for
everybody.
There's pros and cons, just like if you were a man. Or,
And that's part of the reason I like that you're a part of like a male-female team, because without a doubt, Ryan probably likes you more than me. But before he knew you, like I think it was super helpful for him to like have a guy, because guys talk about numbers differently than women as well. So
Absolutely.
like, Ryan has weird, I don't know, compounding interest questions and all other numbers,
so
which I don't know.
Fun.
right.
But like, like
Turns out that's
Whatever
a thing.
that is.
That's a thing.
Moving
very
right
bizarre.
along.
It's a big word and a hard concept. But I think having Tim there like makes a little
Absolutely.
bit of like a,
And
you
part
know.
of that on my side is strategic, like it just as it is on Tim's.
yeah.
And there are a lot of amazing, powerful, all-female teams, across the country. And some of my colleagues have even asked me, why don't you use other female advisors more as to come in jointly on a case? I'm like, I just think there's more power having different types of brains at the table.
Well,
or if someone
Absolutely.
relates to one another differently, or
Like we had a planning meeting this week, and it was funny because Ryan and I were bantering a little bit back and forth about, what did you call it? Extreme outflow of finances these days. He's very feisty about it. And one bill in particular is for interior designer.
Yes.
And I was like,
We could exchange
I'm
that
gonna
thing for
need
some other
you,
things, though. So we
right?
need you to dial
Yeah.
that down.
right.
it's like, I need you to calm down. And Elizabeth goes, well, Tim's wife's actually an interior designer. So I
chances
think,
are he
yeah,
supports that bill.
right. Like, but it completely shut down his argument. So I was
Right.
like,
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Take
kind of.
That was
that.
more a joke than
mean-
anything. But
No, but I think that that's a brilliant idea for your team to have. I mean, because sometimes men are going to relate more to other
Right.
men, and women are going to, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So giving them the options, fantastic. I mean, with our law firm, we joke Todd Major is with our firm, and not only is he one of the most probably brilliant lawyers that
He's
I know.
so smart.
I mean, he's literally brilliant and writes amicus briefs for all of the things going up through the court system. He's just stunningly smart. But we joke that he's our token middle-aged man for our firm because, I mean, it helps lend, credence
a little
to
bit of credibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's for some people, they
Right.
need to see it like,
And whether
why
that's
are
right
there
or-
only women?
Right. And whether it's right or wrong, those are the facts, right?
Yeah.
At least today. And it's
Yeah.
different than it was 20 years ago, and it'll be different 20 years from
Right.
now. But why truncate your potential success by,
Yeah.
only working?
No,
on
I
it?
mean,
and I
it-
think it's
it-
best for the client.
Yeah. But, we were talking a little bit earlier about how your approach is more of kind of like a holistic approach. Like if you have a female that is hiring you or speaking with you about financial planning, she's going to open up and share all the things. And then you can make recommendation based on her whole story. I mean,
Right.
I've had a few financial planners, and it is very like numbers. Like you do this,
I was
you
gonna
can
say
do
you've
this.
had a
you
few.
do
Tell
this
us.
or then this.
Who'd you break up with and why?
No. Well, I mean, I would appreciate the more holistic female approach thoroughly. And like I've already told Rebecca that I'm going to work with you because I mean, like
You heard
I
it here,
need-
folks.
Yeah.
Just got a new client.
See, I told you the podcast would work.
I know, right? Friday. But no, I mean, like, sincerely, that's huge because you can say, okay, I mean, like, I'm not going to sit down with a male financial planner and be like, oh, God, let me tell you about my divorce and how that financially and emotionally affected me. And,
Right.
and they'd be like, well, you can put up to $6,500 in your Roth IRA. I mean, it's like that's not going to be, you want to do business with people that you really, really relate to. And,
Very true.
Yeah, I think that is a huge strength for you as a female, especially dealing with female entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And so kind of what are some of your recommendations and things that you've learned in the investment world and kind of financial planning world that you think would be helpful?
Yeah. So I think after my years in the space, there, of course, are a handful of things that people don't know about that I think is broadly helpful. And of course, this is never umbrella financial planning advice, right? Like everyone's situation and story and what would work is different for them. But some general
just like
things.
our legal advice that we do not give on the show. We just give
out there.
We give some tips.
This may or may not apply to you.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. One is the concept that the 401k is the holy grail in financial planning, right? So you'll run into people that are 40, 50, 60, and what they've been doing their entire career is, well, I'll sign up at my company and I'll max out my 401k and I'll get the match and that'll take care of me.
I don't have a 401k.
Well, so this doesn't apply to you.
I'm like, I'm just going to throw that out there, just like crawl up on that cross. I don't have one.
I know. And not
You're
to
welcome.
get too in the weeds on things, but have you guys heard of a Roth?
Yeah, I have one of those.
Okay, winning. You are winning.
Nailed it, bitches.
Right? So the thing
Woo.
about the 401k that's awesome is that you don't pay the tax today, right? So if you make $100,000 a year and you put $10,000 into your 401k, the government's only going to tax you as if you made 90. Okay, great. Winning today. And we're getting a company match. Awesome. It continues to grow, tax deferred forever. You've never paid
Compounding
tax on those
interest.
dollars.
Isn't this when the compounding interest
yes.
comes in?
I don't know what that means.
Right.
It means it makes a lot of money.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Okay, all right.
You'll know after we work
I'm
together.
a girl. I don't really understand numbers.
Numbers are hard.
If you could use small words.
There's a
Right,
chart.
Right. So the point is, when you get to retirement and you go to pull out those dollars to live on, you are going to be taxed at ordinary income tax rates, which is your highest possible tax, right? So you deferred tax all these years, which was fantastic. But all politics aside on where national deficit is, and our country's got to come up with some money, right? And everyone is complaining about tax, but the highest marginal tax rate right now is 27% before your state and your healthcare tax, right? There is a 60-year history in our country where it's 40% or higher. 50%, 70%, 80%,
so right now
90%.
it's good.
You are in a historically very low tax situation.
I was going to
I was
say that
thinking that it was
sounds
high.
insane.
That's what I'm
I was
saying.
like,
Like, Jesus, that's
Jesus
a curse.
Christ.
It's like
I'm not
everyone
doing
bitching
that.
about interest rates on a mortgage.
Right.
It's like, well, we did have a
mine's
freak
low.
situation,
Absolutely.
but average mortgages right now are a 6% interest.
Which is still low. Like, it's still
my parents
historically very low.
Had like a 20%
Yep. My parents
interest
said
or
when I
something
was
on their
little.
mortgage.
Jesus
I know. So it's
Christ.
still a good situation. So with your 401k, you get out of paying the tax now, right? But when you get into retirement, the likelihood of your tax being 50%, 60% is quite likely.
So do we like my Roth?
we love
better?
your Roth, Sarah, and here's
Yeah.
why.
I win.
A Roth? You know what? You know what? You don't need us.
I don't.
You got your
you
shit
know
figured
what?
out.
God damn it. I am so brilliant with numbers. Who knew?
Right. So the Roth, and then I'll wrap this one up. But the Roth, you pay the tax today when you're probably making the least amount of money you're going to make, and you're most likely in the lowest tax environment you're going to be in, and you get out of the way, and then it grows forever and comes out tax-free. So
It's lovely.
the point is, you meet with people in their 50s, 60s. We're getting close to retirement. They've got millions of dollars in their 401k.
They do?
And they never, some of them.
Who are these people? Damn it.
Ryan Halbert.
Ryan. I know it's Ryan.
Right.
Ugh.
And then it's like, well, you're about to be taxed all to hell. So you thought you had $3 million in there, but once we take all the tax
You have
off,
two.
right? It's still a great tool, and we use them all the time, and they're fantastic to have. But they are not the holy grail. They're not the only way, and you need other buckets and places that you've saved along the
See,
way.
I had a strong internal feeling that the 401k was not for me.
Right.
Which is the reason why I didn't.
You've been guided by spirit
Brilliant.
since you were
Brilliant.
talking about reincarnation.
I did. I
earlier.
met with a medium. They advised me not to do a 401k.
No 401k.
And I
Did you
was
really
like,
meet with a
fine.
medium?
I have met with a medium before.
I need to know.
Oh, it's fucking amazing.
I'm
Yes,
so
I
into all
have.
this.
Absolutely.
So into all this.
Yes, I have. Which we can talk about only
Okay,
after your
okay.
financial advice. But
All right.
it is It does make for
Right.
good listening.
So another tip is that insurance can be your friend. No one likes to talk about insurance. No one wants to sell insurance. No one wants to buy insurance. You know, they think
We sue insurance companies, so we actually do feel that insurance is our friend.
I know,
both
and
in
I've heard
suing it
Rebecca
and
talk
protecting
about
us.
this before. Like when you guys have clients come across your desk, it's like, oh, if only they had this insurance.
If you were
or this
properly insured.
Yes.
God.
Like, and one thing y'all got us on was making sure our disability policies were high enough.
Huge.
Because my disability policy paid out like $1,000 a month. And Elizabeth looked at it and she goes, Rebecca, if you can never work again, you're going to get $1,000 a month. What are you going to pay for? And I was like,
You're going to live off of Ryan Hallberg's millions and millions in this
I know. But as we said, you know, women need to be prepped for their own stuff so you don't have to kill your spouse.
Yes.
Right? Because that would be another option.
or rely on them if they try to kill us. And we have
Exactly.
to get divorced.
Exactly. And
I love
disability
Ryan, but if you
insurance-
need me to help you hide a body, I can do it. I'm just saying. I'm a really good partner.
Hopefully
You're
Elizabeth's
welcome.
going to set me up well enough that I don't have to kill him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
You're well
my
on the
first
way.
recommendation.
You're well on the
I
way.
support that idea. But
Yes.
First and
but
foremost.
the disability insurance is huge. No one thinks about it. They think about life insurance. They think they're covered. They're not. Their corporate situation is covering like less than half of what they've got after taxes. So that is the number one thing that can really derail you
I
from
feel like I have
getting to-
like $7,000 in disability a month. Is that
month?
okay?
I don't know. Depends on how much you spend a month.
Ugh. Well, if I'm disabled, I'm no longer traveling, right?
You're
so
not
probably
traveling.
not that much.
It'll cut back a
You're
little
not
bit.
There
traveling.
you go. I'm not traveling. I'm
Right.
sitting at home.
You're right.
Possibly.
Actually, your life will become so horrible. I think maybe you don't need it.
Right. That's kind of what
Right.
I think
Right.
too. I'm moving into a tent down by the river. But Rebecca and I have talked about this. The likelihood of us becoming disabled to where we can't work as lawyers because
Right.
it's not a physical disability generally. Like as long as we have our brains,
Right.
sadly enough, we can work. Continue. So we probably
As
won't
long as you
need
can
it
type.
as long as we don't
get
have
into
a head
car accident
injury.
and crush your right arm.
Or we
type.
can use AI now. I
that's
saw
true.
some guy that had ALS that was using AI to
wonderful.
talk. It was amazing. Anyway, I feel like we could do that if
You
needed.
probably make it work.
Wait, I need to know, not to get off track.
No.
But how's he using AI to talk?
So his eyes scan the keyboard, and so there's this keyboard thing, and his eyes go through, and then it puts out even like his voice. Like it's amazing.
Oh, that's
it was
so
so,
cool.
That is amazing.
good. It's been like such a game changer for him and his wife. I was crying watching. I think it was Lester Holt the other day. I was like,
Lester always does a good
I
job.
was
was
like,
this a
"God,
real-
that's
was this a
beautiful.
real-
Tugs the
That's so
heartstrings.
nice and lovely. Anyway,
And
okay.
I can't remember if I heard this from you or another one of my financial friends, but that disability insurance is more often used than actual life insurance.
Yes. Disability insurance is more expensive than your basic retail life
Oh, it's not
insurance.
cheap. Yeah.
It's,
It's
not cheap.
not cheap.
Because 1 in 4 people will use their disability insurance.
1 in 4?
Before retirement age. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Right.
Grief, what is happening to these people?
They be
and
getting
do
disabled.
they need a lawyer? I mean, I
Some
feel
of them
like
are getting
they
hurt at
may.
work in an auto accident.
Right.
And they
Right.
should definitely call
Here
us.
we are.
Yep.
Help.
Yep. I have 2 clients right now out on disability claims, and both are under the age of 35.
The fuck?
Mm-hmm.
What? I can't.
One is, I mean, yeah, no, you can. If we don't. say who
Okay,
they
good.
Are, but
Yeah.
one is a random, like slip disc situation.
Okay.
That was hurting, and she wasn't able to get her MRI, and it degenerated, and she ended up in the emergency room because of the pain, and it had wrapped around her spinal cord for longer than 24 hours, which caused she's going to be okay. She's in a rehab facility, and she will be walking and running and sprinting a year from now.
Thank Christ.
But-
Good Lord.
It's crazy.
She was in alcohol marketing, right? So she's driving to restaurants, she's taking people out. She can't do any of it. And then her medical bills are through the roof.
Through the roof.
So
Which is why
Did she
everyone
have
should have
health insurance? Good
she did have
God.
health insurance.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
She did.
But even with health insurance, right?
right.
Like I've got like some platinum plan or whatever, and we offer it through our firm. Like,
Right.
I mean, I still have to pay like, I don't know, $10,000 out of pocket every year if I have like
Crazy,
surgery,
yeah.
like for my ACL. I was like, well, that's cheap.
Right.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we might
insurance.
need 1 or 2 surgeries at our house this year. So I'm like, we should go ahead and get our Rex.
Ew.
Who's having surgery?
I'm scared I might have surgery on my shoulder.
Well, I'm glad that we gave you disability insurance.
I know, right? Thank goodness.
Don't worry, Sarah. She won't be out long.
Oh, no. She can still type. She's fine.
True. I'll get that bitch some AI.
She's not getting like an amputation of her hand, for fuck's sake.
You're
Good
not
grief.
right.
Yeah. Right?
Okay, so
That's
shoulder
correct.
surgery.
I think so.
Okay.
And putting it off, like it's like I definitely messed it up though.
What'd you do?
I cut down that big azalea in front of our house. on Father's Day.
Oh my God, I don't mean to
And I
giggle.
felt it,
remember
like,
hearing
I
this
felt
twinge.
kind of
crunch.
the thing, but the azalea was that giant one you couldn't see the front of our house,
Right.
And so Ryan was helping me. I was going to cut it down for Father's Day. and he
Happy
was like-
Father's Day,
Yeah.
Ryan. Get
He
out
was like,
here. I
"That's gonna
can't get
take
this
you a couple
limb.
of hours." Within the first 5 minutes, like I felt my shoulder like pop, but I didn't want to give up because I'd gotten him off the
Because
couch.
you're Rebecca Hallberg.
Happy
And I
Father's
was like,
Day,
I'm cutting
Ryan.
down
like
this
you.
damn azalea, and like my shoulder the whole time was like, vroom, 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 vroom,
No,
like
ma'am.
throbbing, and it will not. I cannot get it calmed back
Have
down.
you've had a shot? You've already had shots in
I've
your
had shots
shoulder,
in it
right?
before. So Ryan's uncle's a physical therapist, so like he worked on it some at the lake and like was able to help some, but you can just hear it grind. Like if I raise my hand over my
Goes
head,
crunch,
it's,
crunch,
it's
crunch.
like you could just hear it. It's nasty.
You do need to go see Tim Griffith.
I know.
You
He
did
was
this a-
lovely.
He's
PT?
He's Braves ortho.
Okay.
He did Sarah's knee. He's
He did
lovely.
my knee. He's brilliant, but he is the Braves team doctor. So he's
Interesting.
really good with upper extremities. We need that for you. Okay. I'll go with you. Well, I love him. We'll go say hi.
great.
Okay. We'll get you fixed.
So that's the insurance shebang. Did not avoid that situation. You got to have someone you like, someone you trust, someone you know is helping you with the right stuff. There are a lot of terrible insurance companies out of there. There are a handful of really good ones out there. You just got to have the right stuff, but definitely look into it. Another thing I find myself saying a lot is that financial advisors aren't for other people. You know, I'll run into someone or I'll get referred to someone, and in our first call, they'll say, well, you know, I may not actually be ready for an advisor. I understand if you don't want to work with me until I have a big lump sum saved, right? So the concept out on them streets is that you need to have a large chunk of
Huge
funds
cash.
that an asset manager is going to be willing to invest for you. And in some cases and in some shops, that is true. But if you have margin where you can save a little bit every month, then you're ready.
How is $50?
It's better than none.
Okay. All right. Look at me.
But you think about the power of the 401k, right? Is because it takes out an issue of human behavior. It's an automatic savings of a small number, you know, every month, and that's the power of it. So if there's some money you can save every month, then you're ready to get some advice on where it
What
should
to do with
go and how you should do it. And the younger, the better. You know, young people don't start because they feel like they're not deserving of one yet.
Ryan Hallberg did.
He started very young. Oh,
That
yeah.
bastard. Between Rebecca and Ryan, I swear to God, like the conversations that she and I have are so polar opposite of our financial like portfolio or whatever have you. In the sense that she has one and I really don't. And so we like have these conversations and she'll say, so we're thinking about diversifying and going maybe in this route. Like as you know, you're her financial advisor for a lot of things now that she and Ryan are very particular about their things. And I'm like, Mom would be like, you really have to get a 401k. And I'm like, I don't have a 401k. I'm sorry. I'm like, I bought a building for the law firm. I feel like that could
That's
be
a good
my
asset.
You're
Mom. diversifying,
I know.
yeah.
I'm like diversifying. So we have completely different ideas, but that is, I couldn't be more proud of the people that start saving early and start like hunkering down. That's just never been my
Ryan's
MO.
ready to be 100 and wealthy. I'm like, couldn't we just spend some of it now? Like, why do we want to be rich when we're old?
I feel like y'all will be ready to retire though, probably in the next like 7 to 10 years. I'm going to work till I die without fail. I'm done.
And for some people, that's okay. Like,
And
I don't
yeah,
see
and
myself quitting.
No,
ever.
I don't really see myself
Maybe
quitting
less.
either.
Maybe I have a bigger team.
I would just like to
Maybe
do
I
it from
reinvent.
Portugal.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't say that I'm going to work forever.
Rebecca's like, nah, I'm out.
I'm probably.
She's like, Sarah,
as
this
your partner,
brings
let me tell
to
you
a
now,
good
I'm gonna work.
decision that I'm actually ready to retire in 3 weeks from now. Go
Right.
with God. Good luck.
I think I'm going to work really hard for like the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And then move into mediating when I've got a little bit of like gray hair. I mean, I'll still dye it blonde.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh.
And then I'm just going to mediate and have a beach house. And
Can we go in on like a castle though in Scotland or Portugal, like the two
yeah,
of
I mean,
us?
I've still never been to Europe, so I definitely want to go to Europe before I invest in a
fuckery.
castle.
You've never
over
been to
there.
Europe?
No, I
Never.
know.
You've
These
been to
are-
Vegas a lot.
I love Vegas.
She
I mean, they've
fucking
got
loves Vegas.
Paris Hotel there, right? Like that
Right.
basically counts.
Right.
I mean, I still
That's
haven't even
so
been to
true.
that though because I never
Yeah,
leave
I mean,
the hotel
I've
that I
been
go
trying to
to.
get her to
You've
go
walked
with
through
me to Europe.
Epcot, so you've really been to all the
Only one
countries.
day because my parents
Oh,
would never
okay.
take me either. So
Okay.
when I worked for a youth group, that was our like special trip was we got to get a
Fucking
Walt
Epcot
Disney
around
World.
the world.
I didn't know
I
you
couldn't even
worked
drink
for a
beer.
youth group.
yeah. Well, I worked for Young Life, so I would go work in Florida.
Oh,
for Young
Jesus
Life.
I was a counselor.
Christ.
This is
Of course
amazing.
you were.
This is amazing. A good Southern girl working for Young Life.
God, I love that. How your views have changed, Rebecca. God, I love that.
Now you just know you can love Jesus and still go to Vegas a lot.
That is true. right?
Exactly. You just love Jesus by
Jesus
being
is
a
in
good
Vegas,
person.
too.
Exactly.
Oh my God, which definitely just made me think. So George and Henry are at the same camp this week, and it's a church camp. Another weird thing. So they're definitely teaching strange things because when I
Very.
picked George up the other day, he goes, "I think I'm ready to die," and I go,
Okay, that and the
What?
buried alive thing,
What?
we're fucking done.
So,
We're
I
withdrawing
said-
them from these camps
I go,
right now.
I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Well, I'm just ready to go be with Jesus and God." He goes, "I really miss them,"
For
and I
fuck's
go,
sake, I miss them.
"I go, do you know them?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're in my heart." And I was like,
They're saving people at that camp. So
"He's totally going to be a preacher when I
my
pick him up
daughter
today."
went to that camp all year last year, and it's amazing because it's down the street.
I'm really concerned about this.
I know,
for
but
both of
listen
your
to this.
children.
It's basically
Moms,
free.
listen to this.
I support Jesus
You can
100%,
drop
but my
off
child
at
doesn't
8
need to die.
a.m. And
8 to
you have
6.
until 6 p.m. to pick up. This
Amazing.
exists nowhere else in the summer for a working mom.
You're not wrong.
But I sent Kaki, my daughter, all summer last summer, and I was like, no, never again. So she's been now. She's been for 2 weeks this summer, and I'm a Jesus lover. But this is next
I
level.
love Jesus too,
This was
but
like
no,
putting
ma'am.
the fear of God into her, as opposed to the God is here to love you and support you.
This is Old Testament shit,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay,
this is
like
the angry
fire,
God. Yes.
hell, brimstone. Yeah, we're not doing that shit.
Yeah,
I guess
I'm
that maybe
all
that's
about-
why George wants to die and go ahead and just be with Jesus and God now.
Well, I mean, he's already worried he's going to be buried alive, so maybe he could get to Jesus faster.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
more like
fucking
part of
know. Is
one
it all
lesson.
tied in together?
Maybe.
Rebecca, I'm not
I
happy
don't
about
know.
this.
he
Henry
loves it
asked
though.
me-
He says it's the best place on the planet.
They love it. It's like classic old school fun, like board games and roller
Classic
skating.
old school indoctrination.
That's true.
It's brilliant by
One
them.
of my friends. So this is originally a Baptist organization, which being from Kansas, I didn't
Surprise.
really know about what that could potentially represent.
North Carolina, Appalachia. I know.
Yes. And I had some other mom friends tell me that their Baptist church in the South had a hell room growing up.
I don't.
It shouldn't be funny. Why is this funny? Why am I laughing?
It's bad.
It's the transfusion. So in the hell room, you go and it is just absurdly hot.
The fuck? Are you kidding?
Yes. And so if you've been sitting or whatever, they will send you to the hell room in the church.
Maybe
we're
that's
done
where
with this.
George went.
We're
and that's
done
what he was
with. All right,
doing.
I'm
Ask him
no.
if he's been to the hell room.
I'm going to call DVAX on both of y'all. I'm
I
going to
know.
go
Well,
and
I
rescue your
actually
children
called the
from
school.
the
Or I
indoctrination
called the
right
camp
now.
last
We're
year.
To see
done.
if they had a hell room.
Well, because what Kaki was coming home telling me that she was learning, I was like, oh, this is all coming from this one counselor.
Oh, fuck
who
that
it,
counselor.
like,
Absolutely
this is
not.
so outlandish. There's no way that this is the approved curriculum. So I called the church thinking I was doing them a solid. Like, just so you know.
They elevated her to camp director, didn't they? I
She
knew
is
where
in
this
charge
was
now.
going.
So Kaki was saying, and we're really off topic now, but it's fine. Kaki was saying, like, Jesus has to be number one in my heart. He has to be the only thing that I actually love. I need to love him more than you guys, or I'll go to hell. She didn't say hell, but like eternal damnation.
The room.
I'm like, what?
Wait, a child
is
used
happening?
the phrase eternal
I
damnation?
don't remember what she
I'm done
said,
with
but
this.
that was what she was implying. Or, you know, you can't get to heaven or, you know, whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is this one counselor that's off the wall. And Nope. Lo and behold, his parents run the children's ministry at the
Jesus
church.
Christ.
They've never
course
known or
they
trusted
do.
anyone more
Than him.
And that is the curriculum. That's what all the classrooms were learning.
No wonder George is disrespecting me these days.
Right? And Kaki was
no
there
longer
with
number
her
one.
You're not Jesus. Hello.
Kaki was there with her favorite Jewish friend. I know she was like,
Oh my God. She was at that church camp?
yeah, because it's like
For fuck's sake.
a summer camp at a church. There's
Yeah.
hundreds of those. You know,
There are.
whatever. We didn't really know what we were
Poor
stepping
Jewish
into.
girl.
I know.
Yeah, no. All right. We're going to have to talk off the record
no.
whenever this is over of what camp this is. I need to immediately put
I
this
love
out on
it.
my mom
Right.
blast.
George will definitely
We
go.
are
He wants to
not
go every week next summer. I'm
fucking
like,
doing
fine.
this.
I think
It's
it depends on
basically
your
free.
kid also.
Hunter hates it.
Henry
wouldn't.
won't.
I love that
Henry
kid.
doesn't fall victim to that stuff. He's like, he's been poking holes in the Bible since he could talk. Like, no way they got 2 of every animal on a boat. This is bullshit.
Yes.
And my daughter, on the other hand, is like prime for the cult picking.
Yeah, no.
Like she believes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, she's a believer.
Adeline is
yeah.
like, how do you know that God is not a woman? I'm just curious. Have you talked to him personally? Like, has
Right.
there been proof y'all had sat down and had a conversation, you and the man God, the
big
white
guy.
man God with the big white beard and the white hair?
Adeline wouldn't
She's
join a
like,
cult.
no. She's like,
Hayden
go
would
fuck yourself.
definitely
I'm
join-
not doing it.
Hayden and
Only if there were
Khaki would
hot
definitely
boys.
go.
Right.
If there's
Yeah.
hot boys,
boys and
Hayden's
candy.
in. Oh, and Candy.
It's all in.
Yeah.
Candy.
So
Yes. Okay. Where
to
were
get
we?
us back on topic, I
Yes.
know one
Sorry.
thing. It was just I love being off topic with both of you. Y'all are so fun. But do you have any good advice for our spender friends?
I do.
Don't look in my direction.
This.
I only travel.
Which
Fuck.
actually, well, it's okay. I'm wired the same way.
Okay, good.
And
What
this
you got?
ties in perfectly to the last thing I was going to bring up, which is just that financial planning traditionally has always been just about the numbers, and it's much more than that, right? So, in my opinion, it's 50% your taxes and your numbers and the black and white and the investment choices and all of that. But the other
Gross.
50%, I know, but the other 50%, and my favorite part, probably as a psych major, I don't know, but just is all about the human and the human behavior. And when you're trying to change things about someone, a plan, spending habits, an exercise habit, a diet habit, you know, it's really hard to do. And so
I'm not good with any of those.
I know.
Rebecca's much better
know.
at all
And
of
so
those than I am.
traditionally,
I too would be a good cult member because I'm
Yes,
like,
she
okay, I'll do it. I'll do
She's
it.
like, tell me all the newest, latest, greatest ideas. And I'm like, nah, I'm good.
So you really need to understand a person and their wiring around money. What did they pick up from their family? Do they have scarcity mindset? Are they working so hard but not enjoying life in the meantime? Are they huge spenders? For the many reasons, you know, you got to understand how someone is actually wired so that you can help them apply the numbers and actually move the needle. And I think in traditional planning, heavy in the male dominated space, it is like, here is what the numbers say. Here's what you do. Go do it. That's not going to work for a lot of people who aren't wired like Ryan Holberg, you know?
Correct. Ryan, best client ever for that aspect.
Yes.
Me,
He is.
opposite client for that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can tell me if you would think this would be helpful. So I was actually exposed to this industry because I came in as a client.
Okay.
And through part of that process, they're asking you who you worked with, what is, you know, do you think you're a spender or a saver? And I was like, I think I'm some of both. They're like, okay, so you're a spender. I'm like,
Samesies.
true, you got me.
Fine.
And so I've learned as I've acquired clients that are spenders, a process, some tips and tricks to help them save without it feeling painful.
Right.
Okay. So my personal theory is that we're kind of all addicted to something. And I'm not talking about like ruin your life, necessarily go to rehab addictions, but I'm
Booze
saying
hound.
every animal, creature, human is looking for their dopamine however they're going to get it, right?
Buying plane tickets.
Right? Exactly. And for some people it's working out, and for some people it's business success, and for some people it's spending. For me, it's spending. So I first applied this to myself, and I call it spend up. So instead of I'm going to save up for that, I'm going to spend up for it. And the concept is, let's say someone in general spends $10,000 a month to live their life. Okay. So if I come to Sarah and I'm like, Sarah, I need you to make that 8,000 or you're never going to retire. Sarah's going to be like, this process is not fun. I hate it. I'm not going to stick with it. Just like if it was a super stringent diet, not into it.
She's not wrong.
Right? So I have found, and how it works for everyone is different depending on their lifestyle and their habits. But the concept is to create a mental trickery margin in your day-to-day spending and to move that margin from one account to another account. So for instance, ways that I do this. You went, you bought some stuff, yay, you bring it home, you decide, I'm going to return that. So I go return it, but it's like, well, I already spent that money. So instead of just putting that money back in my account, I'm going to transfer that to this separate savings account I got, right? So I still got my dopamine hit when I spent, and I actually now I'm getting a dopamine hit from switching it over. It feels like I spent it again, and now I'm watching that grow. And that's helping me.
Yep.
You know, so
I love that. I return stuff all the time.
yeah, and it's different. Like once you start going through your life, you start seeing, oh, I could do it here and there, and it looks a little bit differently for everyone. But another way I've done it is getting my nails done. I can do them at home, and I feel great about it. So not every time, but if I happen to do them at home, I'm like, okay, I'll just put that $40 or $50. I'm going to wire that over to my side account. Or I go grocery shopping. Part of the reason I spend so much is because I'm always in a hurry. I'm like, time is money. I'll just go do this and then I'll go work and make more money. But I wasn't saving at the end of the day, right? So I'll run through the grocery store, get all the stuff I need, and then I take 3 minutes before I check out. And I'm like, do I really need that 4th bag of salad that I'm going to throw away next week? Probably not. Did we really need 3 types of cheese? Like we can probably do well on cheddar and mozzarella. Mm-hmm. Do I need the mixed Mexican blend? Most likely not. You know, so it's just a few
maybe it's
things.
delicious.
I know, but it's like I ran through the store. I did my normal behaviors of like, throw it in, I'm in a hurry. I take 5 seconds to be like, okay, I can do without those. Fine. And then I don't, it's not a laborious amount of time that I add up.
Right.
You know, but I'm like, okay, that's about $20. I'm going to switch that over to that other account.
Ah, that's brilliant.
So it's just
Love
little
that.
things.
I feel like I
here
could
and
do
there.
that. That's not bad.
And I think you would get the double dopamine because you're like, spend it the first time, get the money back, transfer it over, and just see it grow.
Right.
I love that.
I know.
God, that's a brilliant technique. So I do think that, again, being a woman and also being a psych major, which I just learned about you, I would say that you're probably more adept than, I'm not saying all men, but I think a lot of men that are in the finance industry that are just kind of number oriented. And it's like A plus B equals C. Here you go get C. And I'm like, I'd like C, but I really I don't want to fucking save on this.
I know.
That
and
sucks.
We always say, you want to move the needle enough that it's meaningful, but that it's doable, that you're not making this, creating so much resistance that it's painful.
Right,
or
like Whole30.
Yeah,
Nobody has
thanks.
time for that shit. You're not making me stop absolutely drinking and eating pasta and cheese and all the things in one fell swoop.
So I feel like I should probably tell you something now.
Oh,
You're on
I cannot wait.
I'm obviously drinking vodka now.
Thank
Yeah.
God. Okay.
But because of Elizabeth got me onto the stupid fasting because she sent me the podcast about how to lose weight.
Okay, in my defense, she is always talking about, I just can't lose weight, or I need to lose more weight.
Even
or
though
it's
she
it's
can,
harder
she's
now.
all muscle and she doesn't have
I know I'm
any
a
fat
complete
to
psycho.
Although
fucking
you
lose.
mentioned you've seen her many times fully
Naked. Fully naked,
and
all the
I'm
time.
like, I thought we were close, but maybe not because
We
I
travel
haven't
together
seen
a
you.
lot
Yeah, that's true.
on seminars and share hotel rooms and stuff, so I
Right,
see her
right.
naked all the time.
Right, okay.
I found we
Because of
shower
you.
together,
Right.
we roll around on the bed and
Lots
money.
of just walking around naked.
You know those
Full
things.
Sometimes
comfort.
we work in the buff and all this.
Constantly walking all around the office.
That's how we get our male clients.
Called big naked energy.
Meet with them naked.
Jesus. Yes.
Ugh,
that.
don't report us to the bar.
Exactly.
But so I read this book on vacation called Fast Like a Girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like lightly fasting right now. But in August,
Are you going to be grumpy?
no, like at this point in time, I'm fasting like 14, 15 hours a day.
Jesus, tits. That's
It
a
sounds
lot.
crazy, but
It's really not that
if you
bad
quit
if you eat
eating
dinner
at
early.
6, and by 6 in the morning you're already at 12 hours.
No.
I
So
go
by
to
9, you're at
I
15
go
hours.
to bed at like 2 in the morning. If I stop eating at 6, I'm going to be starving.
Yeah, definitely works better if you're an early to bed person.
Early to rise person.
Yeah.
But in August, I'm going to do the fast like a girl fast, and I can't drink, and there will be a 36-hour fast.
I'm going to have to go on a trip.
See,
I can't be here for this.
You'll be gone for part of August.
Okay, when do you start? Are you going to do it while I'm at the Dude Ranch? Because I can't be here for that. I feel like you're going to
I could do that. Why don't we look
really
at the
cranky.
schedule and we'll try to coincide?
Could you
my
do me a
36-hour
favor
fast.
and schedule your fast when I'm out of town? It's
Yes.
very inconvenient for me.
Well,
So I'm into the fasting, but I don't know about. I mean, is this a water fast? Sometimes they
I'll
say
do
you're
water.
fasting if you're eating under 500 calories a day.
No, it's
or
like a full fast. And then she encourages you to do a 3-day
Full Gandhi
fast.
fast.
So
Are
72
you going to
hours?
look for like a burning bush up on top of the mountain?
Well-
You've been going to that fucking camp that the kids have been, haven't you?
I too have been to the
knew
hill
it.
room.
Right. Jesus is at it again.
But so if you do the 72-hour fast,
Okay.
yeah, 72 hours,
And
your
like 12,
body
24,
starts
36, like,
producing
how
all of
many-
these healing hormones. And so
Allegedly.
I think it might fix my shoulder.
Okay. So
I can't.
And my
I don't even know
TMJ.
what the fuck to
So
say
if I
about
store
that.
for 3 days, I think I might be healed.
No.
okay, I had never thought about healing a joint with it. So why should I say it's not possible?
It's
But
all in the book.
I do know all
I'm
about.
going to say it's not possible. I'm going to
healing
go and
your
raise
gut,
my hand and
though.
say that's
It
not
heals your
true.
gut lining, and all kinds of disease pathways are tied to.
And it's supposed to make you smarter. I don't know. I'm just going to say
you
I'll
smarter.
report back if my jaw and my shoulder are healed.
Okay.
Your jaw will be healed whenever you
'Cause you
get
quit
through
eating.
the Invisalign, number one. Number two, the shoulder will be healed when you go see Dr. Griffith. You don't need to starve yourself for 72 fucking hours and see burning bushes and like
Right,
white
but
doves.
we also you can't go
very
to the
worried
PT
for you.
then before this. Like you have to first just try the fast.
Yeah, I
if
think
we're
I just want
gonna
to see if it works.
If it works.
They said
Okay.
that this like special stuff will like
Okay.
neurons all heat up and then everything just heals miraculously.
called
Okay, I might be in for
oxytocin.
this.
Your body's dying, so it starts
Right.
to create
People do
this
start to,
amazing like euphoria
Yeah.
because you're fucking dying.
That's
I don't know.
right.
I'll report back.
I love you. I support you, whatever you decide to do, but I will probably need to be out of town for that. Elizabeth,
Okay. I'll support
tag
it.
in.
Tag in.
I joined a Facebook support group.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
If you need a support group, is it a good idea? If you need a support
joined a
group, does
Facebook
There's
this make
also a
sense?
72-hour sardine fast.
Gross.
Now
you
I'm
can't do that at the office.
absolutely fucking out on that.
Yeah.
I love sardines.
I hate the
What
smell
is
of
the
sardines.
science and what are they saying
Same
about
thing.
this?
They all just heal all the sardines
Protein.
and the
You
oil.
smell horrible.
Yeah,
it's
you're
just
disgusting.
exuding from every pore in
No
your
one's
body.
going to want to make out with me.
No.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
we absolutely could not love you more. And your advice has been brilliant. And we definitely think that working with female financial planners.
Does this mean I'm done now? Is she winding me down?
I'm-
okay.
I'm-
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I'm
Otherwise,
winding
our
you
listeners
down.
will quit listening. They'll be like, "Good God, these women
She's
never
not
quit
wrong.
talking."
I'm having to.
I know. I
I'm
was
having
ready.
to cut us off. But
I'm
yes,
kidding. Yes.
if we did not have a time and people had an inordinate attention span, I would continue talking.
Right.
Or I'd let you
But they
talk.
don't.
But they don't. So
Right.
yes, I am wrapping us up. But I wanted to say you are fantastic. I am definitely going to work with you. Rebecca raves about you all the time, not only as a friend, but most importantly, a brilliant financial advisor. And if you can balance out Rebecca and Ryan, who are complete polar opposite personalities,
We got you covered.
you've got my vote, girl.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
So,
I've loved it.
if you all want to know where Elizabeth works and you would like to talk to her for advice or consult with her, you can email us
put you in
on
touch.
Facebook, and we will put you in touch.
With the best in the biz.
Absolutely. Or direct message us or
No dirty DMs. No.
dick pics,
Yeah.
please, for the love of
Hard
God.
pass.
Yeah. A random dick pic. Can you give me Elizabeth's
I'd be offended that
information?
no one's ever dirty DM'd me. Like I'm kind of offended. What am I
We
doing
get 'em
wrong?
A lot. You just
We should.
need-
That'll
am I
be
doing wrong?
another whole nother episode we can do on
Dirty DMs, and maybe
dirty.
I'll have a goal of trying to get a few that I can tell you about.
Perfect.
Between now and then.
We
Yeah.
can just forward you some of ours. They're phenomenal.
It doesn't
Life-changing.
count if it's not for
Life-changing.
me.
But yes, thank you so much
Yes.
for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank
we
you for
love
having
the
me.
Owens transfusion.
Cheers.
Friday
Delicious.
transfusion. Cheers.
Whoop, whoop.
Lawyers and libations.
Have a great rest
Rebecca
of your
and Sarah.
summer.
You
Love
too.
you, ladies.